We'll go ahead and get started with Coach Traylor. JJ.
Jeff, what was the message you shared with your team yesterday as you guys gathered?
Yeah, I hate it because I know I bore y'all to tears, but I mean the triangle traveled, and we always start with our defense, and we were very physical. I mean, when we left the stadium, there was no doubt who the crowd thought was the most physical defense. That was ours. We talked about we were going to run the ball, not just our running backs, but our receivers, run after catch, quarterbacks, and that showed up as well. Special teams, other than kicking the ball out of bounds, we were pretty much, I don't want to say perfect, but Sticks had some unbelievable catches. I don't want the ball on the 1 yard line, so we'll catch it on the 5 or 6. I have no problem with that. That kicker punter had proven he could put the ball out on the 1 or the 2. I don't want the ball with my quarterback's heels in the end zone. So if Sticks gets it on the 6 or the 5, we're confident we'll go 94, 95. I just don't like 98 and 99-yard drives. So I was very proud of Sticks, and Hunter made some great field goals. So the triangle traveled, and that's why we were in the ball game. And that's another thing I would say. It was no fluke. We played the way we always play. We show up. It was not like there were fluky plays in the game where somebody could say we got lucky. We play a certain style of ball. And our style showed up again, which is 13 weeks in a row that's happened, 13 games in a row.
Okay, Greg.
Jeff, what about just the players' sort of attitude and response coming away from that game? Have they handled it the way you would hope they would handle it, or what's been the atmosphere in that sense?
We were pretty tired Sunday. We didn't get home. I'm sure. I don't know what y'all's travel schedule was like, but we didn't get home till like 4 a.m. So we were a pretty tired team, as I was and my staff was. The adrenaline had worn off, but we did a great job watching our video. That's where you get the best, is from week 1 to week 2. The eye in the sky don't lie, and they're all a reflection of me. So everything out there is me. So we got a lot of stuff to fix. But they were very humble about it, and I'm sure they're going to get a lot of analogies this week about eating cheese.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you can stick with that and ride that out, or if you have to kind of get creative with it now that there's even more on their plate in that sense.
Last year we went with the rat trap theme for the negative effect of cheese. We're going more of a digestive way this week, so it'll be interesting and some fun videos in the old field house, or the race building. I'm sorry, I'm old school field house. The race facility.
Okay, Stephen.
Coach, just wanted to ask you, you have Lamar coming up this weekend, and it's the home opener. So I guess a two-part question. What have you seen from Lamar in studying them, and what are you kind of expecting and hoping from when y'all take the field on Saturday?
Offensively, they're just so different. They look like Army. They're running option, so you're going to have to defend, midline trap. You just don't do that very much anymore. And Army proved to us that, we were, I'd say, mildly successful in slowing down Army, but they controlled the tempo, and it was just such a different style of game that always has you concerned. Whenever you see anybody that plays differently, defensively, they're 4 down. I have a lot of respect for Coach Morgan. He recruited my school when I was a high school coach. He's a high intelligent, high character person. I know quite a bit about that Lamar job. I was, in on that job when I was interviewing for this job as well. Those were the 2 jobs I was interviewing, so I know that roster really well. I have a lot of respect for the AD and the school, and that's what I know about them so far. We'll do a deeper dive today. Obviously, that was about by the time we get through grading and putting the last game to bed, we usually get to the next opponent about 6 o'clock at night. So I probably only got about 4 hours of them in last night personally. Now, my GAs and my analysts have been on those guys for a week, and they provide us all that information so we can get back up to speed.
Okay, we'll go with Sam.
Hey, Jeff, I know Saturday's result was not unexpected for you guys. You guys have had this level of expectation, but certainly it got the attention of a lot of people outside your building. I'm curious, how do you think opponents will view you guys moving forward, and how does that impact your team, if at all, moving forward?
It doesn't change how anybody views us that is inside of football. Because I was a high school coach, at the same school for so long, I became really good friends with a lot of college coaches through the years because they would come through my school and recruit my players. So I have a pretty good relationship with most college coaches. And it wasn't even after 6 games last year that all of them were coming to me just really bragging on how hard our kids play and how bought in they are to our culture. And I think your point was very valid, that it's the people outside, looking in that probably we got their attention, but the people on the inside that know us and watch us play and have to play against us know how hard we are, how hard we play, and how competitive we are in every ball game. So I would say that I hope I answered your question, Sam.
Okay, Greg.
Jeff, what are your expectations now for the type of support you'll receive at the Alamo Dome? And is there anything you can do this week to continue to help mobilize that?
We talked about that. This is the exact quote I gave them yesterday. I said, man, we can't control that, right? We've done our part. You're good kids. You had a great season last year. You've overcome so much adversity. You went on the road and beat a really good Big Ten team with a great environment. I said, there might not be anybody in the building but Diana Wisdom and my wife Saturday, but we cannot control that, right? And it might be packed, and we can't control that either. So I don't want my kids to put too much into that, because what if the crowd's not what we want? Well, are we going to let that control the way we play? What if that crowd is as good as Illinois' crowd was? Are we going to be that? Are we going to be a roller coaster? That's a total violation of every culture pillar we have. That falls right into trusting the process, which to us means control the controllables. And we really cannot control that. I know my kids desperately want that. I can see their social media. They're wanting that crowd. It's really hard to beat us in that place. And when that place is rocking, it's incredible. I've shared that with you and before, and JJ, when y'all show those clips, and JJ does it mainly of previous games, it puts chills down my back, man. And I hope that my kids get that experience. But if they don't, we're going to stay true to the brand, and the Triangle's going to show up.
Yeah, is it just about the home field advantage component that makes that such an integral thing to try to have that level of support, or what impact does that have on the players? Why is that something everybody is kind of wanting and chasing?
Well, because those local kids stayed home because they want to make San Antonio relevant, and they want to feel that back. I know I say it a million times, we're the 7th largest city in the country, and we have a great city, and we have some great local hometown players. It's pretty unique to see Spencer Burford running GT, and Sincere McCormick, Brendan Brady, Frank, Oscar, Zachary from Cedar Hill, Josh is from Houston. It's just Hunter Duplessis is from San Antonio. We can go on and on and on. Trevor Harmison from Houston, about our players and where they're from. Rashad Wisdom, San Antonio. I mean, you know them better than I do, Greg. And I just think it's important to those kids. They love San Antonio, and they want to leave this place a certain way, and they want to have a legacy that lasts forever. And they're very committed to that. And I hope they get that Saturday.
What would you say to anyone in the fan base who might still be, concerned about the COVID impact or trying to weigh whether it's the right move for them to come out?
Well, that's a personal decision they're going to have to make. I'm not, I understand that there's concerns of health for all of us. And if they are concerned about that, then stay home and, cheer for us and send us some good wishes on Twitter. But the ones that aren't worried about that, there's a lot. That's a big Alamo Dome. I mean, we could probably seat 30,000 in there. We could all have a seat to ourselves and one in between us, and we'd still be fine. So we can social distance. There's a lot of places to go in the building if you want to social distance. We just need you to come in there and be loud. And here's something: maybe you don't want to come in the dome, but be there early for the walk. So those kids on the tailgate, because you'll be outside, if that makes you feel more comfortable. I don't know, but there's a lot of ways you can help us. And showing up and being loud, staying late, be early. Those are some key things.
Okay, JJ.
Jeff, you lost 2 starters on the O-line, and I think a third guy went down during the game. Can you update us on their status?
Yeah, my coaches are on to me saying I speak this stuff into existence. But I have told you all year, I'm thrilled about our depth. If you get hit in the wrong spot too many times, it doesn't matter how deep you are. And we're kind of in that little curse right now. There's nothing that's going to be for a long time. All those centers that went down in fall camp, they're probably still 4 weeks out. The more recent injuries are soft muscle injuries that we expect anywhere from possibly 3 days to 2 weeks. So that's where we are on those kids.
When you went back and looked at the film, how satisfied were you with the run game on Saturday, especially in that fourth quarter? It seemed like you guys made a point and emphasis to try and run the clock out there at the end.
Well, we got our tempo going early. If you remember, I told you that was going to be key for us to get first downs, just to keep them out there. They're in the Big Ten. They don't play a lot of tempo, and we got 82 snaps, which we knew we were wearing them down. We didn't plan. We had planned to play that many offensive linemen. We didn't plan to have to play them. We were going to choose when to play them, but we played 8 kids up front, and I think that came in handy for us. We traveled 77 players, and we played 61 of those Saturday. 61 played. And you mentioned the fourth quarter, JJ. When I decided to play very conservative and punt the football, in my mind, I was like, the worst thing that's going to happen is we're going to overtime, and we're still fresh. We'll be able to last with them in overtime. And that was an impressive drive, capped off by a really great block by Terrell Haynes. Great fake by Frank, which bought the linebacker's eyes just one moment. And before they knew it, Brady was house calling.
I think Brendan and Sincere combined for 42 rushes. Is that kind of where you guys want to be with those guys?
Yeah, we since I've been here day one, we're going to run the football. And it's very important to us. And you could tell by the way Illinois lined up against us, they were like, y'all are not running the ball. We're going to put more guys in there than y'all have and see how well y'all throw. And Frank was just incredible in his accuracy. Our receivers were so incredible in their route running and run after catch that they had to make some changes in the second half. They played a whole lot more coverage. If you'll go back and watch that drive, they were heavy coverage on that drive. The play by JT, I thought, was the one that really sprung the game back to our momentum. And they played coverage. After JT's catch, they played coverage pretty much more than not the entire rest of that game.
There was a sudden change before halftime, I guess, on the fumble where it seemed like Illinois had the momentum. How big of a stand for the defense was that to hold them to a field goal?
Well, right before halftime, the fumble and the punt return was big. Caleb Cantrell made a great play there. But, you hate to get too much into this, JJ, about the play and all that kind of stuff, because we could argue about 10 of them. But I agree. Once we had the mishandle of the snap or the exchange, I'm sorry, the lights go out. And here too, Kyle, you can't make this up, man. This is awesome, JJ. I tell you what, the second time the lights went out at the race facility. New building, man. We're learning. He moved me in a new room thinking it wasn't going to happen. It got us again. But yeah, what I love the most about once we fumbled, it was 3rd and 2. And I mean, the play we made and the way we made it, we went in there with an edge. Like our defense could tell that was one of those moments where that was pivotal. And I hope I don't get that word like I did vehicle with April. I mean, we got to get that pivotal. I'm back. All right. So that was a huge play. And man, that was awesome. Somebody told me they watched the live copy and the Big Ten Network was confused because I was clapping louder and harder and more excited than Illinois was. And they were like, how could both sides be happy? And there was one of those moments where both sides should have been happy. They got them 3 points and we held them to 3. How good was their kicker? Woo! When he hit it, man, you knew it was in. I mean, it's like Hunter. When he struck it, you know it's going through.
I also wanted to ask you about, I guess, the red zone offense. 3 of y'all's field goals were inside the 20. Obviously, it's still good to get points there, but you want some of those to be touchdowns, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt. For our goal, we were 1 off on that. So we got a little flustered down there. And, you know, like I told my coaching staff, when it's 4th and 1, nobody wants to say a word, but me and Coach Lonnie, it's quiet as crickets. For some reason, when we get in the red zone, all the coaches want to start calling plays. It's funny how that works. We've got to do a better job of staying calm, looking at our script, call the plays that we've got called. We had a couple of snap issues down there that really hurt us, and had an alignment issue one time. And I would just say we got a little too excited and we got to calm down and stay with the script. But, you know, I've got a really good kicker. And if it's 4th down there, we're probably letting him swing.
Back to you, Sam.
Jeff, you alluded to his accuracy, but I wanted to know, just looking back at video, what you thought overall of Frank's performance and how he handled the moment.
I thought the key for him, since I've been coaching him, Frank's a perfectionist. He's the first one in the facility. He's the last one to leave. I tell my guys all the time, he could be a Navy SEAL. He's that kind of mindset. His downfall is he's a perfectionist. Our greatest strengths are always our greatest weaknesses. And when Frank makes a mistake, since I've coached him, he would change his body language because he's so disappointed in himself. And your leader can't do that. The leader has to maintain a look of confidence at all times. Pull your scalps back, head up, put a smile on your face. And he did that. He came back immediately, never blinked. And I was extremely proud of how he handled adversity. That was his goal going into the game. I had him speak on mental toughness to our team. And that's exactly what he said he's going to do. If he made a mistake, he was going to maintain a very tough mindset, and he did that.
For him, I know he's one of the many, local kids on this roster and one of the guys that's been here for a long time. How much has that informed or impacted what this means to them and what your guys' mentality and success has meant to that particular group?
We do have to be careful. It's a lot of pressure to put on young men. And we talk about pressure as a privilege, but they feel that. They really want to turn this thing around and leave this in a much better place, as each group has done that's come before us. The first group that came through left it better. It got better with the second group, and so on and so on. I think we're on group 11 or 10. It depends on how you call it. Because one year they didn't play, they just practiced. But each group has left it better for us, and we want to do the same for the group that follows us.
Okay, Greg.
Jeff, we saw Brendan Brady come up with a couple of touchdowns in this game. What did it mean to him to have a game like that after kind of being limited last year and everything that he brings to your program?
I think it meant as much to all of us as it did to Brendan. If you could see our sideline, people are just so thrilled for him because they know how frustrating that was for him last year, that injury. And it meant a lot to all of us. You always want to see good things happen to good people. I don't reward bad behavior around here. The fellowship of the miserable, the locker room lawyers, they don't get anywhere with me. If you want the ball, shut up, smile, practice hard, make plays, and we'll get the ball to you. But to ever sulk or pout and get in your own feelings, it's not going to get the ball for Coach Traylor and his staff. So Brendan's one of those guys you root for because he always has a smile on his face. He shows up every day. He's a professional. He knows the playbook. He's selfless. He serves. And he's a guy you're always rooting for.
Are those the qualities that made him a single-digit guy with the team, or how was he able to sort of earn that role despite being, number 2 on the depth chart at that position?
No one in this building sees Brendan Brady as a 2. That's a media term. There's nobody that sees him that way. So we don't think of him like that. If we were going to get technical, we'd probably call it 1A and 1B. Or we'll just go pony personnel, start the game, and put them both out there so y'all can call him a starter.
What does he bring between the lines that makes him such a 1B kind of option and somebody who can stand out in your offense?
His physical toughness starts, his professionalism. He's also talented, but he'll stick it up in there now. I mean, he's a great, great extra yard back, as is his teammate. Both those kids are similar. They're going to finish their runs. He's got great hands. He's an all-around football player. I bet he'd be great on defense and tackling. He's just a football player.
JJ?
Jeff, what was going on with the kickoffs? You had some miscues there. Was that something just kind of you guys are trying to do something by design, or just the first game type of deal?
No design. Rear back, kick it as hard as you can, as far as you can. We felt really good about our we call those our Night Stalkers. All of our special teams are named after the military, kind of a tribute to the military city USA. So those are our Night Stalkers, and they were beating all the blocks. We just couldn't get kicked down the field. I don't know. It's not happened to me. I don't know if it's ever happened in my career. I don't know how many games I watched in my life where they kicked out of bounds 3 times, honestly. And it wasn't like it was the same one. Hunter did it once, Ever did it twice. So I understand why your question is. You're probably thinking, what the heck's he trying to do over there? We weren't trying to hit a shot like at Augusta on some kind of tight par 3. We had a wide fairway, and we were just ripping the driver, JJ, and letting it go. And we had the old Shankopotamus. I mean, I know sometimes you get mulligans, right, JJ? There's no mulligans out there. You don't get to do it again. It's in the river, boys. That ball's gone. So we're not going to try to make too big of a deal out of it because we don't want to get in the minds of our guys. But that's obviously was very frustrating and had a huge impact on the game. I mean, we would have had them inside the 25 or near it every time, and we gave up 10 yards per kick on that. So that's 30 yards we just gave them. That's tough when you're playing a team that plays the style of offense Illinois does.
Greg?
Jeff, I want to talk about some of the new guys who came in here. We saw quite a lot of Clifford Chapman in his first action with the program that we've been able to see, at least. What was sort of your impression of what he brought to the table for you guys?
Cliff's a pro. Whenever you come from the SEC, it's just it just means more. I mean, when you get a kid from that league, they understand the importance of football. He takes football very seriously. He's a professional. You'll continue to see him more and more as the year goes. He's just a really good boy. And, we need to remember those kids from New Orleans, we have 8 on the team, and their families are still going through it. My son coaches there. He's in Dallas in a hotel. My son hasn't seen his house, and there's really nobody there to let him know how his house is. So you can imagine what that's like for these kids. They're distracted. It would be, their families are safe. They're in different towns, but to not know about your roof, the water in the house, and those kind of things is difficult on these young men. So we don't want to forget those kids from New Orleans, but Cliff's a New Orleans boy, and they'll be rooting for the Saints this weekend, as I will be as well.
How about along those same lines in the middle? We saw Denzel Feaster and Drew Prox both get some action. Were you happy with what they kind of brought in their roles?
Well, we're deep in there, boys. Now I'm telling you, we got that one addressed correctly. They played very well. They struck people. Harmison played great. Liggins played great. Feaster played great. Prox played great. Monkey came out there and did some good things as well. So, man, that's nice to be able to say we played 5 linebackers and they all played well. I probably forgot somebody, honestly.
And then I did want to ask about the Illinois scoring plays in the first half. It looked like there was some motion, and then maybe they were able to get guys open as a result of that. Was there something that you saw on tape that led to some breakdowns?
Yeah, we just had – they were great play calls. They were good answers for our pressure. It's pretty obvious. I don't like to sit back and just take it. I mean, I hate – we got to do it some. I hate playing coverage, I want to go. And so they had great answers for our blitzes, and we didn't match them. It was a different person each time, and we had 3 of them. And that's something we got to get cleaned up. We were very disappointed in that, but I've told y'all all week they're very good coaches too. And they get paid. And they got us. Here's something I always share. I tell our kids all the time, Coach Lep's and Coach Riley are going to make 10 play calls a game that are fantastic, and you ought to sack the quarterback or make an interception. There's going to be 10 plays a game. We're just going to blow it. We're going to make the wrong call. And the other 50, it's the triangle. It's just mental and physical toughness. Who wants to bring it the most? And they got us on those 3 calls. Honestly, but we got to match that defensively. We know that, we rep that, but we got to match those routes.
Anything else for Coach? All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Jeff.
Happy Labor Day. It's a national holiday, JJ. It means we labor on Labor Day. God bless. Birds up.
Thanks, Jeff.